With the eyes closed, bring your attention to the breath for a few moments. Use the breath as a focal point, something to rest your attention on. In this meditation, we're going to explore the world of sensing and how sensing relates to thoughts, and then how we seem to relate to these thoughts. Notice how it seems as if we're picking up information that is coming from out there, out in the world. As if we are some type of sensing machine that is designed to reach out into the outer world and pick up that which is meant to be sensed. As if there's an I or a self that can reach out and explore the things that are in the world out there. These things can include sounds. So notice what you're currently hearing. Does it seem like something is making the sound out there, and we are then meeting the sound waves with the eardrum? Right now, it is enough to just know that hearing is happening. Know that everything that everybody hears is done in virtually the same way. That the process of hearing is very much the same for all species that interpret sound. This is simply vibrations causing movement within the eardrum. Sounds can be pleasant or unpleasant, and many are just sounds that neither register as pleasant or unpleasant. These could be looked at as neutral sounds. Now notice what you are currently feeling against the skin. This touch sensation. Notice the clothes against your skin. How does that feel? Notice any kind of pressure that you feel from sitting on the chair or on the cushion. Notice the temperature of the air against the skin, the coolness or the heat. And know that this tactile feeling, this sensation, is the same for all beings. Something brushes against the skin, and it's interpreted as a touch sensation. Sensations such as this may be pleasant, unpleasant, or they may not register as being no more than information that tells us that we are touching something. And the same is true with all of our senses. We see sights, smell odors, taste flavors, hear sounds, touch tactile objects. There's a feeling that comes from each sense experience. Every time a sense experience happens, there's a feeling that arises. All very mechanical. But in observing this, we can see that there doesn't have to be an individual self to say that all of this happens in this way. So can you see that sight happens, or visualization if your eyes are closed? The eyes simply collect the image in the form of colors, distance, shadows, and borders. All of this just happening. Can you know that the ears just hear, and that they're simply hearing that is happening? Can you know that the tongue tastes and the nose smells, and that there is no person that is the owner of these activities? Now let's take a look at our thoughts. Bring a thought to mind. It can be any thought. Just notice the thought. Maybe something from the past, something from the future, or just a thought in general about something that's currently happening. When we investigate this thought, we see how this thought started with the sense experience. we can see how every thought begins with something else. A sound, a taste, something that we see, a smell, a touch, or even another thought. In this way, we can see that a thought follows a sense experience or another thought. Just sit with this for a few moments and see that it's not true. It is true that thought follows a sense experience or another thought. Now notice how all of this happens on its own, without a self being behind it. Notice how the self does not control any of this. Thoughts, above all things, seem as if they belong to us, as if we own them. In essence, we believe that we are the thinker of the thoughts. It's very hard for us to imagine that we do not have ownership of these thoughts, since they seemingly come from our mind. When we truly investigate this, we see that thinking is happening, but that there is no ownership of the thoughts, no thinker behind the thoughts. Interestingly, when thoughts temporarily stop, so too does the idea that there is a thinker behind the thoughts. And when thinking starts up again, soon to follow is the idea that there is a thinker. So, can you see this duality of self and other, subject and object, and how it is present only when there is a self that seems separate from everything else? Can you see this duality vanish in moments of unconditional love and when truly happy? So look at this moment. Is there the feeling of an existing I behind these thoughts, behind this experience? Or is there acceptance and allowing, a feeling of oneness within anyone being behind any of this? So we can ask, can there be simply sensing and thoughts arising without anything or anybody being behind them? Can choices and decisions be made without an I or mine behind them? And can a decision be made without you making it? This is one of the more difficult areas. Can a decision be made by instinct, intuition, information of different types without a self behind any of it? Take a few moments to think of the decisions that were made that brought about this present experience. This experience of you meditating at this moment. All the different things that came about to create this experience. Let's take a few moments and look at this. So is there a self or a you behind the decisions that brought this moment together? Or does experience seem to flow into the present moment without a self behind any of it? Let's simply sit with this thought for a few moments. Does experience seem to flow into the present moment without a self behind any of it? Continue your practice for as long as time allows.